Je voudrais du soleil vert, des dentelles et des théières, des photos de bord de mer, dans mon jardin d'hiver.
Sir Artanis7 asks, how did you get started in this? Why did you get started in this? I'm going to blend these two together. Like I said a bit ago, just decided that, I miss doing what I love. I'm hearing all these content producers, be it in the form of Creepypasta or pony stuffs, you name it, just making audio dramas, audio plays and stuff, and how much fun I had doing it in the past. I thought, I gotta do this again. I miss it so much. I don't get paid for it, but it's an amazing hobby. I love it. And if it's something you think you'd have a lot of fun with, I encourage you to do it too. Some other fandoms I was in. Namely the Creepypasta one, I guess. I'm part of the network, shall we say. The network website. I don't really know if any other fandoms I was a part of. This is kind of the first, big one, if you want to call it that. You play video games? Absolutely. I have everything back from my SNES to my N64 to my GameCube to my Wii, Wii U, and Xbox 360. Do I watch any Let's Plays? Yes, I do. I'm subbed to Choka Conroy and some of his friends like Proton Jean. There were some others I was subbed to for a while, but eventually I started doing a lot of modern games, which, that's not a problem. It's just kind of around a point where I started to notice that a lot of modern games are kind of starting to blur together a little bit, if that makes sense. Just that it kind of feels like they're going more for cutscene power to gameplay power. It's kind of hard to put into words, but as busy as life is, I haven't had a whole lot of time to do a lot of new gaming. But my free time, I do enjoy playing Smash Brothers, the new Smash Brothers. It's kind of like unwind, It's a good time. Are you into any Abridged series? Yes, DBZ and the Vampire one. Come on, DBZ, Abridged, and Van Helsing. I know there's a lot more out there. I voiced in one actually for a Sonic X Abridged one. I was a crazy Russian scientist. That unfortunately was taken down twice. So, yeah, it's, I know there's a lot out there. I know there's a lot that are fun, and I'm going to get a lot of suggestions, but it's just finding time to watch them all. And I unfortunately just don't have it. I wish I did, but, yeah. Next few questions. Ooh, here's an interesting one. Do you have any plans on any creepypasta that seem very generic? And he's kind of talking about how, video games that include things like hyper-realistic blood and things like that. Okay, it's not just video games, but, you kind of see that in, the Lost Episode series where, your favorite cartoon show has this one episode that was done off the books for fun, and there's, blood and characters are acting sad and depressed, things like that. Whenever someone says something about there being hyper-realistic blood and gore effects, that's the point where I'm just like, okay, we're going a little bit off the edge here. In some of the earlier works, yeah, I can see why it was more of a thing, but when it started to get, when the thing with hyper-realism, blah, 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 starting to get used a lot, I started to think, okay, this is getting a little bit crazy. So, yeah, there's some that I think can be done well, but other times it's come on, wrap it up. You have plans on branching off into any other fanfics, such as RWBY or Pokemon? I've considered it. I haven't read too much into those, but, I have a bunch of different series planned out, but, Creepypasta is kind of where I'm at home, and pony stuffs, it's all fun, because I work with a lot of fun people. So, I might look into them. Now that you mention it, maybe I will. We'll see where it goes. Because, it kind of goes into how familiar I am with, some of, other shows' canon and stuff. Are you planning to go into any fan theories? I'm guessing that means in the terms of creepypasta stuff. Possibly. Again, those are those are kind of up in the air with how, with how realistic they may seem. So, I don't know, it might be something I'll look into. Kind of depends on the content itself. WHH Raider asks, what is Victoria's Secret? I really, honestly cannot tell you. Hang on. She's a dude. Sorry, coming down a little cough here. How many marshmallows does it take to make a chubby bunny? I have no idea what a chubby bunny is. Let me just Google it here. And, oh my god. Oh, Luke or Picard? Luke, because I'm a Star Wars fan. That's not to say Star Trek is bad. I'm just didn't get into it as much as I did Star Wars, but might try to change that soon. Who knows? Waffles or pancakes? Pancakes all day. I love pancakes, especially chocolate chip pancakes. And I can just see my British friends again right now, just shaking their heads with their pancakes. It's a pudding. I were an ice cream flavor. What flavor would I be? I'm going to tag that along with Autumn Breeze and Sir Artanis7, who also asked what my favorite ice cream flavor is, which is mint chocolate chip. Ever so fresh and sweet to the taste. Autumn Breeze asks, what's your favorite show that isn't pony related? Ooh. I cannot really stack up a show that I like. That's okay, I have to label my favorite shows by genre. I can't just pick out one show that I really enjoy, because there's like dramas I like, horrors I like, comedies I like. I was a really big fan of 30 Rock back when it was on. It had this really like hilarious like slapstick writing and comedy style I liked, because Tina Fey and crew are just hilarious writers. Dramas and stuff. I'm really into House of Cards. I just caught up on season 3 of that. That was a roller coaster. Dexter. I really like Dexter. Breaking Bad is another one of my favorites. In fact, I am like 8 episodes behind on Better Call Saul right now. So I might actually go watch some of those after I'm done recording this. What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten? Well, there's a little story to that, actually. So, a couple winters ago, our neighbors, they're from Bangladesh, they had a faulty snowblower, and I know that the dad over there has like some back problem. It's really unfortunate. So, the daughter's trying to start the snowblower, and they're having a lot of problems. So I'm finishing up my driveway. I go across the street, and I help snowblow their driveway. A couple of days later, the mom comes over with to thank us with this this dish. I cannot remember the name of it, but it was like this kind of this yellow soup-like dish of some sort. So I try it, and oh my god, I'm really trying not to sound offensive here, but it I don't know what to describe what the flavor was. Like, it just didn't have any, but it felt like some kind of like weird anti-texture. I'm really trying not to sound offensive when I say this, because I know that food differs by culture, and I know it was a kind gesture, but on the one hand, at least I tried it, you know? It was a very interesting taste. So, yeah, my mom tells me that the look on my face was completely priceless when I first tried it. What's my favorite novel? My favorite novel, I'm actually going to tie this in with a question that Obab Scribbler asks. I remember growing up when I was in classes, I was really into Shakespeare. I know that's not a novel, but I just really liked reading Shakespeare whenever it came around to reading that stuff. But in terms of like a book, I really was into Agatha Christie stories, because I really like the mystery and the dark intrigue. My favorite one of them was called And Then There Were None, because it was just a freaky story about all these people who had at some point in their lives like done something, done like a crime of some sort. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you haven't read it, it is worth the read. It's called And Then There Were None. It was really freaky, so I highly encourage you to pick it up sometime if you haven't. Next question, asked alongside Sir Artanis7, is, do you like Pokemon? Yeah, I really do enjoy the games and stuff. I fell off the train from the anime kind of between the Kanto and Johto series. It's just, it has a whole lot of filler, and episodes were just recycled, and here's a new Pokemon. Oh, Team Rocket wants it, and Pikachu does the thing, and they're gone. Okay, bye. Like, it came to the point where me and a friend of mine in college would just watch the gym leader battles. We would just go on YouTube and watch the gym leader battles because that was like the only exciting part anymore to us. In terms of the games, yeah, I still play the games. I have Alpha Sapphire, and I kind of realized that, after you've beaten like the main story in the remake versions, it's like it's a little harder to press on than their same generation counterparts. Like XY, I went on with XY for a long time, like leveling up new teams and making new Pokemons and all that. But with Ruby Sapphire, the new ones, it's like it's hard to get back into it for whatever reason. I could not tell you why. First pony memorabilia that I ever got. Well, I actually never got any myself, but was sent a bunch of rarity things from an online friend of mine who went to BCon. He just mailed me all this rarity stuff he picked up, and it was, it's like posters, buttons, cards, pins, and all this stuff. I'm like, oh my god, dude, you went overboard. So, yeah, that would be my first cluster of stuff that I received. West Aussie Brumby asks, did you think you would get so many questions? No, actually, I didn't. I thought that, the 300 sub count, well, people sometimes just kind of pass by and, oh, that's cool, great job, 300 subs. But, only a certain handful of those numbers leave questions. But, no, I wasn't. I also wasn't expecting people to leave, like, multiple questions. As you've probably heard, I have filtered some of them out because, either maybe they didn't make quite as much sense as I thought they did, or a lot of them like ran parallel to others. So I kind of had to filter through them. So if I didn't get to a certain question of yours, I am sorry, but maybe ask it next time. I'll hopefully get to it. Can you tell one secret about yourself that no one knows? And if so, what is it? Well, some people know this one, but it's still a funny story, so why the hell not? When I was 8, I was in a little basketball league, and we had actually won a game. Yeah, that's why I sing a lot. And afterwards, I saw my grandma was there, so when I saw she was looking the other direction, I ran up to her, gave her a big hug, and I kissed her on the cheek. And then when she looked at me, I realized I have never seen this woman before in my life. Whoops! So I had a couple of friends I was in the league with, my dad and my actual grandma, who were looking and laughing at me. It was pretty embarrassing, but I was 8. What can you do? You have 2 questions I'm going to blend together here. If you could do anything in the world, what would you like to do? And that would be travel, which ties in one of your other questions. If you could travel anywhere in the world or meet anyone in the world, where would you go, or what would you like to do? I've never been to Europe. I've always wanted to go to Europe. See like England, London, Italy, Paris. I want to go back to Hawaii. I went there when I was early teenager. We stayed at a condo on Maui, which, it was right by the coast, had a beautiful sunrise. In terms of meeting people, there's a good chance I will be going to BronyCon this year and meeting Lost Narrator, Scribbler, Woot, and Kate Bug, all kinds of people that I work with on various projects with. I want to go back to Vegas. I went to Vegas when I was 16, so I couldn't do check shit. But I want to go there and have a sore ass wallet by the time I'm done. East Coast. Love to go to the East Coast, but hopefully will this summer. I've been to Florida when I was 6, so I actually haven't traveled a lot by myself. So there's that. I've been to Arizona and Vegas, like I said, but I've never been to the West Coast. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have to go kick it with Lost Narrator for a week or so, but you never know. Well, I'm planning some travel plans in the near future, so I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. Did you ever think you would get 300 subs? I thought I'd get there eventually, but not at the rate I was expecting. When I was posting stuff up for Month of Lurv back in February, I expected, I'd make it a little traffic, but after that, it's just been skyrocketing. I just did not see it coming. But I'm very grateful that people like watching the stuff I do. I have a lot of fun with it. And so, thank you, listeners. Thank you for listening to this. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for paying attention to me and my crazy hobbies. If you can meet anyone from the fandom or from the cast, who would it be? The cast members, they're kind of a dime a dozen, but the real friends that I've made producing content, I'd really like to meet them. I've mentioned their names throughout the video, so I'll leave the rest to your imagination. Who is your hero and why? Doesn't have to be from MLP. Well, this is going to sound really hammy, but I'm going to have to say my mom. My mom is a very, very strong woman. She's been through a lot. We've both been through a lot. And having each other there as each other's rock, it really means a lot. Because I get a lot of strength from her. I learn to be the person that I want to be from her. And that's a positive, kind, outgoing person that does not judge. And because that's what life's about. And I'm very, very thankful that she's been in my life to teach me those things. Next question comes from WolfX1120. I know this guy. You're the one who always leaves those positive comments and positive feedback on at least all my pony videos. So thank you for that, Mr. Cool Guy. And I hope that answers a couple questions for you. He asks, Luna or Celestia? Very good question. I like them both a lot, but Celestia, not just how she's written in the show, but in various fics, she's written to be this really strong character. When you think of everything she's been through and the demeanor that she employs when she's talking to her subjects, it really says a lot about her own personal strength and how she's able to, put on a face even when the going gets tough. I think that really speaks a lot of her character. Cats or dogs? Cats are cute. They can be fun. But I'm allergic, so that's a sad day. I'm always been a dog person, if you cannot tell by the musical number that this one and I did earlier. In the right puppy. You were a little flat. You were a little bit flat. I'm sorry. Maybe I was sharp. You know what? Forget it. And now, here's a big question that comes from WolfX, as well as Sir Altana7, West Aussie Brumby, and, oh my god, so many other people who left a comment in the video about it. Are you going to do more of Celestia Uses an Online Dating Website? Okay, so about this fic. I released the first 2 chapters together for Month of Lurv because I felt they flowed so well together, between each other, because it just goes from, oh, here's my first date, and then they go right to the date. So, honestly, at first, I was not thinking of doing them because, I just wanted to have something solid, that could have worked as a one-shot, to make people really laugh and enjoy the story. And it's my most viewed video on my channel. It's got 25,000 views. Holy crap. But people have been saying in the comments, are you going to do more? You should really do more of this. I would love to hear more of this. So, you know what? Yes. I have decided that I will do more of Celestia Uses an Online Dating Website. Now, I'm not going to do all of it. There's no way I'm doing that entire fic. I'm telling you right now. But no, I do plan on picking out some chapters here and there and playing around with it and seeing what I can do. And I don't know if I'll keep to continuity all the time. I might pick one that I think is kind of funny here and there and move on from there. But yeah, I don't have a date or a timeline exactly, but I can tell you that you can expect to hear Celestia Uses a dating site in the future. you can expect that. And I know that, and I know that if Scribbler is listening right now, she's probably rolling her eyes, thinking, "Oh God," very similar to Rowan Atkinson. Which brings me to my next train of questions. The last set of questions from the question queen herself, Bab Scribbler, because she left like 20 of them. And tying in with the Rowan Atkinson bit, her first question is Blackadder the greatest historical comedy show ever penned by mankind? I have to say, I am very glad you introduced me to that show, because even though I'm not from the UK, it is hilariously written, and it's really interesting to see, Britain's take on, on a history like that. Like when he goes to talk to Queen Elizabeth, who, oh my God, she is so fucking funny. Like with the way that they're portrayed, and even in Blackadder the Third, when Hugh Glory is playing the Prince Regent, I just can't help but think to myself, can they make fun of the royals like that? Are they going to get in trouble? Can they really be executed? Or no? But yeah, it's just one of those interesting culture things. Like that's why I like British shows so much. Like I asked Scribbler this. If you ever seen IT Crowd, someone says like this guy gets on the wrong bus, and they're like, "All right, it's a long trip to Manchester," and then the audience, the laugh track laughs, and I'm sitting here like, what does that mean? And she says, "Think of Detroit." Oh, okay, I gotcha. At least that's what I'm told. Or with Lord Blackadder, just seeing as how they make fun of like all their history and things at the time. It's such a funny show, and like just reading about it in our history, like how things were back then, and their own take of parody and humor. It's just so well done. So if you have not seen Blackadder, check it out somehow. It's not on Netflix anymore. It makes me so sad because I was just about to start the what was it, Blackadder the Fourth, like the fourth season, but it ended right before I got to it. So I don't know, maybe I'll come back at some point. 2, did you ever get the Jaffa Cake care package I sent you? It got lost in the mail. I was so sad. Oh, man. Because Lost got hers, and I remember someone else got theirs, and I was like, oh, I wanted my Jaffa Cakes. But I kind of get the feeling that there is a very, very happy postman right now, and I will find him. Favorite game of all time? Ooh, that's a good question. If you mean like a video game, I'm going to have to go all the way back to the 90s era, a little bit of 80s era, I guess you could say. I've always been a fan of the Mega Man series. And with SNES, I've been a fan of like the Mega Man X series and all those. The first 3 X games, I would play those over and over and over when I was a kid. In terms of like RPG or whatever, I've always been a fan of the FF games. Final Fantasy 6 or 3, whichever you want to call it. I've always liked that one. I liked 7, even though I thought it was really easy. 8 was confusing storyline-wise, but it was still fun because I could abuse the shit out of the junction system. And 9, I loved 9. But my God, I had so much trouble with 9 because it was so hard. Yeah, I hope that answers your questions. There's so many games that I have in my library. It just makes me think, oh, I can't think of them all. But those are among some of my favorites. Least favorite game of all time. I don't know if I have a least favorite game. If I don't think I'll like something, I won't buy it or rent it. But I've never really been... I'll just answer that by genre. I've never really been too big on RTS. I think it's just because I don't play to the same level as other people I know. Like, back in high school, there was a New Year's Eve LAN party I went to, and I got crushed in like 5 minutes of trying to play this game because everyone was just ruthless and did not care. So I'm just like, that's great. I'll be over here on my console. Woo! Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon? I would say Nickelodeon for when I was in my single-digit years. When I got to my double-digit years, I loved Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network had like this Friday night lineup that was always fun to catch. I mean, I was 11. What the hell am I going to do going out on a Friday night? So, yeah, those are always fun to watch, and sometimes have people over and watch them all together. Though I do like a lot of the stuff they make today. It's kind of hard to pick between them all. You mean Nickelodeon, you had Avatar and Legend of Korra, which was phenomenal. Like, probably one of my favorite animated shows to date. And then Cartoon Network just has all these, like... They have all these sort of, like, really fun non sequitur shows, like Adventure Time and... what was the other one? Regular Show, I think it was. Yeah, that one's like that one's pretty well written. I don't know what it is about Regular Show, but it's like it just kind of relates. I think it's how it's written. It kind of relates to like an older crowd. I can't really. It's hard to get into it. I can't really describe it. It's just cool like that. Same goes for Adventure Time. You have people like last time I went out for a Halloween party. I think there were two people there dressed as Flynn, and one of them came as Jake the dog, like paired up together. So yeah, it just goes to show just what kind of impact that modern writing has. I love that cartoons have made a comeback because it just makes it feel a little less silly. It's like I said above, we will never grow old. Nostalgia critic or angry video game nerd? I enjoy AVGN. He knows his stuff, but sometimes the humor is kind of hit or miss. So I'm going to have to say Nostalgia Critic really hits home because he picks on a lot of movies that when I was younger, I was like, oh man, I really like that. And then he just like picks it apart and it's like, oh man, I never noticed those things. Shit. Next question is Batman or Spider-Man for to win? Oh God, stop asking these hard questions. Damn it, Scribbler. Spider-Man, when I was a kid, was great because villains, oh my God, you had so many like over-the-top crazy villains. But what I wasn't quite a fan of was how they played more for him going for Mary Jane. I always thought he was a better match with Gwen because they just had so much more in common. Yeah, Spider-Man was great for just over-the-top fun. I loved it. But in terms of a more serious story, see, the thing with Spider-Man is that so many villains and stuff, they play with like radiation and alien DNA, things like that. Even though, don't get me wrong, Venom was an amazing villain. I loved Venom. But they just play with radiation a lot, which is fine and all, and adds to the over-the-top fun. But with Batman, that takes such a more serious note. I loved Batman the Animated Series so much just because of all the different villains and just how clever they were. Especially the Joker. I loved the Joker as a kid. But yeah, Batman was great. If you're talking about who would win in a fight, Batman, come on. There's no contest if they were in a fight. For a more serious tone, definitely Batman. Which professional voice actor do you most admire? Going back to what I talked about a little earlier in the video, I was a real big fan of Tony Jay growing up. And Mark Hamill was another one because of the Joker, and just these people just like blew me away with their performances. But one more modern one that I really like is God, I'm gonna butcher this last name. Grey DeLisle? Grey DeLisle? Whatever. She voiced Azula in Avatar, and was Mandy in Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Funny story about her. I was watching Clifford the Big Red Dog with my niece and her parents once. And, you know, she jumps onto the screen and says, "Hi, I'm Emily Elizabeth, and this is my dog Clifford." And I heard this voice, and I just snap up to I'm working on my computer, and I just snap up to the TV, and I say, "Wait a minute. Who is that? Who is that?" My friend's like, "It's Emily Elizabeth." I'm like, no. So I pull Wikipedia, I Google the show, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Grey DeLisle, whatever. It's the same girl who voices all this. That's amazing. I never knew she did this kids show. And then it goes back to, "No, father, I will capture the Avatar." And it's like, wow. It's just so cool that just hearing all these people do all these different roles. So, yeah. How the frig does one pronounce your username? Gutius Serenade is how it's ideally pronounced. And the reason behind the name is, well, I had an older name that I went by, that went as Gutius Maximus. By the time I joined Steam, it was my first group of fandom friends that I made. And so I decided to make a play off of it by making my OC, which is around the time I named his name was Serenade. So I decided to just merge the two together, and I'm like, that's got a pretty decent ring to it. But since it is pretty weird and wonky to pronounce, like some people I talk to on Skype say Goody-oo. I'm like, that's so weird, just say Goody. So a lot of people just call me Goody for short, but yeah, in actuality, it's typically pronounced Gutius Serenade, and hell, even now I just say, hi, it's Goody, and so, puppy, what do you want? I know, I'm almost done. Is this number unlucky? That's because it was the number 13 on the list. I don't really think it is. 13, yeah, it's kind of a weird number, but I really don't think anything bad happens when, wait a minute. Oh shit, my phone just died. God damn it. Oh well. Next question. If a tree falls in the woods and nobody is there to hear it, does Derpy still get a muffin? Derpy always deserves a muffin. To deny Derpy a muffin is to deny the world happiness and joy. Favorite Western cartoon show that doesn't feature small pastel horses? Were there horses in Avatar and Legend of Korra? I don't think there were. But no, that's probably my favorite one. It's just so amazingly done. And it's actually, believe it or not, I'd seen some random episodes here and there, but it wasn't until seeing some stuff from the Nostalgia Critic that made me think, I need to watch this. I need to watch this canically, just to understand what it's all about. Because if he thinks it's this good, then yeah, I gotta watch it. And I did, and I was happy. The end. Hey, look, $5. What fics will you never do a reading of, and why the hell not? Probably things, like I said earlier, probably things related to Klopp, because, on the one hand, doesn't really have a lot of substance to it. On the other hand, it's like, I'm just not interested in reading Kloppy material. And probably not super gore for the sake of gore fics either. It's, I want to find something that's, well written with substance. And yeah, I guess my main answer is Klopp fics. Klopp fics and super gore fics that don't have story, What part of the fandom do you wish could just poof away and be forgotten about for all eternity? I don't know, because a lot of this ties into what I was talking about. Like, if you don't like it, don't click on it. Let people be who they are. But I'm going to try and twist this into a way that hopefully will not offend anybody. I'm not a huge fan of the reviews. That's not to say that, they're bad or they shouldn't be a thing. Personally, it's just not my cup of tea, because I don't know. It's just like it almost feels like that people are reading too hard into things that aren't there or don't need to be there. Now, granted, a lot of their takes and opinions, they can be interesting, but, to the point where people are just like whining about what they wish would have happened or this or that. That's kind of when I think, okay, it's a kid's show. Please don't give yourself an aneurysm trying to look too deep into something that's not there, okay? So, yeah, that's probably the one part I'm just not a huge fan of. But if you're into the reviews, or if you do reviews yourself, that's not to discourage you. If that's what you like to do, please keep doing what you're doing. Don't let my opinion influence you. It's just who I am, and it's just my own personal opinion. So I hope you can take that for what it's worth, with a teaspoon of salt, as 'twere. Could you fight off a mugger? In Chicago, no. Anywhere else, I would hope so, because I'm very tall. I think someone would be really stupid to come to someone of my height and be like, and be like, hey, give me a oh, you were a lot smaller a mile away. What would make this last question 10 times more spiffing? The answer to that, Scribbler, is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because you asked it, and you used the word spiffing. And with that, that will conclude my first Q&A special. Thank you all once again for tuning in. As the puppy yawns, puppy knows it's time that we're about wrapping this up, right? So thanks all for subscribing to me. I know I'm a little late doing this. I feels late doing this because by the time I'm recording this, I think I actually just passed 700 a day or so ago. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching and tuning in and sticking around for this marathon session. And I will see you in the next reading. So catch you on the flip side. You say puppy. You want to say bye to everybody? Bye everybody! Say bye everybody! Good girl. Bye everybody.